It's 0:30 hours on June 6th, 1944, and Major Vera Pluskat stands alone in his concrete bunker high above Omaha Beach. He commands the 352nd Infantry Division's coastal artillery. For months, he has stared at this same empty horizon. Tonight, however, something feels different. His orders are clear. If the Allies come, his guns must stop them on the beach. If they break through here, the road to Paris lies open. At 0:10 hours, the phone rings. It's his regimental commander. Pluskat scans the darkness once more. Nothing but waves and fog. He hangs up and returns to the scope. His crews man the 155mm guns in their reinforced positions. Ammunition is stacked and ready. Naval mines stretch across the beach below. The obstacles bristle from the sand. Everything is prepared, yet the waiting gnaws at him. Then, at 0:20 hours, he hears it. A low, mechanical growl rolling across the water. Aircraft engines, hundreds of them. The sound swells into a roar. Pluskat rushes to the observation slit. To the north, the sky erupts in streaks of light. Parachutes bloom like white flowers against the darkness. Thousands of them. Alarm. His artillery crews scramble to their guns. The phone rings again. His gunners train their pieces inland, but the order is absolute. The beach, always the beach. Yet the paratroopers are landing behind them, cutting roads, seizing bridges. The invasion has already passed his guns. Dawn begins to break at 0:53 hours. A pale gray light spreads across the water. Pluskat returns to his scope, scanning the horizon. His heart stops. Ships. Not dozens, not hundreds, but thousands. The entire horizon from left to right, as far as he can see, is covered in ships. Battleships, cruisers, destroyers, transports. An armada beyond comprehension. They sit in neat rows, dark silhouettes against the lightning-lit sky, stretching to infinity. His hands shake as he reaches for the phone. Static crackles. His commander's voice is tight. Before a response comes, the world explodes. The first salvos from the Allied naval guns tear across the sky like freight trains. The sound arrives a split second before the shells. They slam into the bluffs around him with earth-shattering force. Concrete dust fills his bunker. The walls shudder. His guns roar to life. The 155mm pieces bark, sending shells arcing toward the distant fleet. But the Allied fire is overwhelming. For every shot he sends, 50 return. German positions erupt in fountains of dirt, steel, and shattered concrete. At 0:63 hours, landing craft appear. Hundreds churn forward in waves, heading straight for Omaha Beach, straight for his sector. His battery commanders acknowledge. The German guns shift, tracking the approaching boats. At 2,000 meters, they open fire. Shells splash around the craft. One takes a direct hit and disintegrates in a ball of orange flame. Yet there are too many. For every craft destroyed, 10 more push forward. The landing craft hit the obstacles. Some explode on mines. Others grind to a halt on the steel hedgehogs. The ramps drop. American soldiers pour out into chest-deep water. Yes, the MG-42 positions dug into the bluff's open fire. The distinctive, ripping sound of German machine guns echoes across the beach. Tracer lines rake the waterline, forcing the first wave to scatter and dive for cover. The surf churns with chaos, yet they keep coming. More landing craft grind onto the sand. Tanks push forward, some bog down immediately. Others crawl toward the shingle. Engineers sprint with charges, trying to cut lanes through the obstacles. From Pluskat's guns, heavy shells slam into the beach, blasting sand and debris skyward and shredding equipment in an instant. A naval shell finds one of his artillery pieces, silencing the position in a single strike. The Americans are pinned down behind the seawall and shingle. The waterline is choked with wreckage, and damaged vehicles burn along the beach. It looks hopeless, but the landing craft keep coming, wave after wave, spilling fresh troops onto the open sand. At 0:73 hours, Pluskat thinks to himself, how many shells remain? They've been firing for an hour. At this rate, they'll be out in 30 minutes. He calls the regiment again. The Allied guns adjust. The pattern changes. Less noise, more intent. Spotters are guiding the fire, feeding coordinates from the beach and the air. Impacts march up the bluff, closing in with frightening accuracy. Then the bunker takes a direct shock. The scope fractures. The view disappears. Pluscat hits the floor hard. He lifts his head and sees smoke seeping through a new crack in the wall. The concrete is beginning to give. 2 guns remain with fewer than 40 shells. By 80 hours, the Americans begin to advance. Small groups break from the seawall and move up, through the draws along the bluff. Defensive fire forces several to drop and take cover, but others reach the low ground and keep pushing. They work with grenades and satchel charges to disable each strong point they encounter. The radio crackles, then falls silent. Outside, the air pulses with repeated impacts, each one closer than the last. A messenger rushes into the shelter. There's no withdrawal. The roads are cut, and the escape routes are held. Your men can only fall back into an ever smaller section of the line. At 84 hours, his last 2 positions fell silent. They are out of ammunition. Pluscat stares toward the shoreline. It's filled with movement now. Huge numbers press forward, spreading inward. Heavy vehicles crawl up the slopes. Gaps have opened where the barriers used to be. The ground he was meant to hold has become a foothold for the advance. The invasion has succeeded. At the base of the bluff, medics move urgently through the chaos. German and American soldiers lie side by side. The scale of the arrival is immense. Vehicles and supplies move in a continuous stream, pushing inland without pause. The Atlantic Wall has failed. His account of watching the Allied fleet appear at dawn became one of the most famous German perspectives of the invasion. The 352nd Infantry Division suffered catastrophic casualties, defending Omaha Beach, with over 1,200 men killed, wounded, or captured in the first 12 hours. Despite inflicting heavy losses on the American forces, the German defenders were overwhelmed by the scale and firepower of the Allied assault. Pluscat survived the war, and his testimony was featured in Cornelius Ryan's book, The Longest Day. He maintained until his death that the sight of the Allied armada at dawn was the moment he knew Germany had lost the war. The defense of Omaha Beach was Germany's most successful resistance on D-Day. But it wasn't enough. For another perspective on a surprise attack that changed the course of the war, you can subscribe to this channel, The Historian Tube, for more interesting history, ancient histories, stories. You can use these kind of videos to fall asleep quickly and easily. Like and comment. Thanks for watching.